Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing good. Before getting started with today's class, I want to show you all some images. So here is an image of a brick, an image of paints and balloons. So the state of the brick is in solid state and the paint is in liquid state. And the air that is filled, the balloons are filled with air and the air is in gaseous state. So today our topic is about solids, liquids and gases. So let's see what is solid. And here is an example of solid. A brick and a table are the examples of solid. And when do you say a substance is solid in state? If the molecules are closely packed and if they are rigid. What is meant by rigid? If they are not flexible. So if the molecules are closely packed and if they are rigid, it is said to be in solid state. And it is also said to be in solid state if they have a fixed shape and if they have a definite volume. So that is when a substance is said to be in solid state. And they do not need any container and they stay in a position, and they also have a shape and volume, and the shape and volume does not change. They have a fixed shape and volume. Here there are few images of solids. So the bin is a solid, chair, soft toy and brush. All are solids, but the difference are the bin is solid made up of plastic, whereas the chair is made up of wood. Soft toy is solid but is soft in nature, and the brush is rough in nature. And when this light is allowed to pass through a solid, when light ray is allowed to pass through a solid, what happens is the light scatters. And the light is allowed to pass through a solid, the light rays are scattered in solid. So they are all called as the matter. And the next topic is about liquid. So water is an example of liquid. And when do you say a substance is in liquid state? If the molecules are closely packed comparing to solid, and if they are rigid, and if they do not have a fixed shape but have a fixed volume, then the substance is said to be in solid state. And here is an example for gas, smoke. So this is a gaseous state. So this is an example for gas, and the molecules are very loosely packed and they are not rigid, and the gas does not have a definite shape but they have a definite volume. So let's have a quick recap about the characteristics of solid, liquid and gas. So the gas is rigid, whereas the liquid is not rigid and the gas is also not rigid. The solids have a fixed shape and fixed volume. And for liquid, the characteristic is it does not have a fixed shape but has a fixed volume. And for gas, it does not have a fixed shape and it does not have a fixed volume as well. Before introducing to the new topic, we are going to do a simple activity. Alright, and for that activity, I want you all to take a glass filled with water, a glass of water, and just add a drop of ink carefully at the center. Do not shake or stir and observe for 5 minutes. What happens after 5 minutes? We can see that the ink particles starts to move and it spreads itself in the water. So let us do another activity. We'll try another activity, and for that activity, light an incense stick and keep it in the corner of the room. What happens? We can smell the incense stick from where we are standing, and therefore we may conclude from these two activities, we may conclude that the particles of the gases and liquids can move more easily than the among the gases. It can easily move than the gases. So this movement is called as the diffusion. So let us see the definition of diffusion. Diffusion is the tendency of the particles to spread out in order to occupy the available space. So let's see about the diffusion in liquid and in gas. So the atoms are loosely packed and they are affected by gravity and they are moved due to gravity. And for gas, they are loosely packed than liquid. They are not affected by gravity and never stops moving and it never stays in a place. And for gas and for solids, the solids do not diffuse like liquids and gas, and the movement is very much restricted. And for our next topic, we are going to do an activity. Take 3 syringes, alright, and close the nozzle with the cork. And fill the first syringe with chalk powder, and the second syringe with water, and in the third syringe with air. So there is nothing. So in the first syringe there is chalk powder, water and air. So what happens when we try to push the plugger down in all the 3 syringes? The plugger moves freely in gas than in solid and liquid, and the gas is highly compressible. So let's summarize about what we saw so far. So for solids, they have a definite shape and volume. It is compressible and tightly packed particles. And for liquids, they take the shape of the container and they are small compression, that is small compression, and they are loosely packed particles. And for gas, neither definite shape or definite volume, and they are highly compressible and very loosely packed. And the particles attraction is strong. Particle attraction is strong and they cannot move freely, and the particles cannot move freely. And for liquid, less particle attraction, that is less particle attraction and moves freely. And for gas, there is least particle attraction and random movements of the particles. And now we are going to see about the classification of matter. So the matter has been classified into pure substance and mixture. The matter is classified into 2. It is pure substance and mixture. And the pure substance is further classified into elements and compounds. And for mixture, it is classified into homogeneous mixture and into heterogeneous mixture. So in the next class, we will see about the classifications of matter in detail. Thank you, children.